McNulty Christmas movie marathon. Episode 2. Reviewing The Grand Budapest Hotel, which was Oscar nominated for a bunch of stuff, including potentially Best Picture, lost to Birdman last year.
Yes, came out in 2014.
Yes. So, what did you think of it?
It was weird. So my first initial thought was, this movie is very strange right now.
Yeah.
But very good.
That's an excellent movie.
Hilarious.
It has that quality when you're watching it when you're like, oh, this is like a serious movie. Like, not serious in like, it's a funny movie. It's a comedy. It's very comedic.
But it's also...
But it's like, we take filmmaking very seriously and we're really going to go for that Oscar nomination.
Right. You watch it and you think, this movie is weird enough to get a nomination.
The gun for Oscar.
Yeah. But just very like, I'm sure there's... I don't know. It's weird because it appears to me like it's an old movie.
I didn't get
filming
that vibe,
wise.
but I
feel
see
like
what you're talking about.
It looks like it was old.
Well, I mean, it's set in a variety of timelines, but a lot of it's set in the 40s and 30s.
And maybe
so
that's
I
why
think they might
it
be
seemed to
going
have
for
like
some of
aspects of that kind of filming. But
yeah.
What did you think about the storyline?
Well, it's interesting because it has a story and it has a plot line. It has like 3 or 4 levels of framing device that they set up in the first few minutes of the film. Like a person remembering a story that's being told by yet another person. But
it's all the same story. It didn't really like hop around to different story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one big plot line.
But it doesn't. It's interesting in that it didn't have big, clear themes or even a lot of character development. I mean,
as far as character development, I think the most development was seen in Lobby Boy.
Well, yeah, and you got that from him.
Because it's all about him and how he...
But you mostly could see that based on the fact of the way he told the story about his own youth, not as much over the course of the story itself, which I thought was, I don't know, it was fascinating. It didn't have a lot of the things that I normally like really like in movies, and yet I really liked it just on the strength of the characters and the
writing. The writing was very good. And I think that the character interaction was really good. It was interesting how he, as a man, like grown man, was telling his story to somebody that would listen, to somebody that wrote a book about it, and then you had in the beginning and the girl reading the book that the author, who was presumably dead because there was a statue to him, wrote. So it's like the different levels of the story about how you got a hotel impacting, I don't know, just kind of rags to riches kind of story. But
also it is interesting because you get this feeling like there's this idea of the hotel that's filtered through 3 or 4 people, and that maybe it never existed, but it still represents the desires of each person, the reader, the teller, the owner, what they wanted to be and what they wanted their life to be, and none of them really quite have that. Even the people who are in the story are kind of on the tail end of what may or may not have ever existed.
Well, yeah.
So I think that was...
it's an excellent movie.
That's probably the one key theme of it. One is loyalty, and the other is that that this thing may never have existed, and yet everyone's so very loyal to it.
So it's on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
I encourage you to watch it if you haven't seen it. Thanks to Marshall for telling us to watch it.
Yes. I don't think anything... it's almost a movie that's almost impossible to spoil because there's no this is
so much of it is you watching it.
Yeah,
even if you know what happens,
it unfold. So if you haven't seen it,
guest appearance by Bingo.
Yeah, it's still definitely worth seeing. Oscar nominated for a reason, and not just for being weird. Like it's legitimately good.
It's really good. I enjoyed it.
Well,
all right. Well, thanks for watching episode 2. Merry Christmas. McNulty's out.